started treating patients with the ways that actually worked. And I come to find out that everything that worked wasn't covered by insurance. Yeah, you could do all this therapy, you could do this, you could do adjusting, you could do all this. It'll work temporarily, but if you don't go after the cause, I would recommend that this is a volatile insurance climate, and it would be unwise to put all your eggs in the insurance basket. So start to maybe branching and doing a little bit over here as well. Start doing something that is in a cash program. We've all heard the phrase, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And back in the 90s when I started, I put everything in one basket because, back then it was the heyday of insurance billing. I had 75 employees. I had 8 people in my insurance department, full-time attorney to make sure everything was done right. And, had to collect $240,000 a month just to pay my overhead. I found out that about 2023 that this thing called the gut, the microbiome, which is a thing now, was weak. And so I put together some programs to heal the gut. And that's when, of course, they started to get out of pain. And then they were losing weight. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? And that's when fecal transplants came out. Fecal transplants, they take, the feces of somebody who does not need to lose weight, and they kind of take the bacteria and they put it into somebody who can't lose the weight. And it works, but it's not only is it $30,000-$40,000 back then, it's $5,000 now for one pill and up to $100,000 if you implant the bacteria through the back end. And so I don't know about you, but I've always thought to myself, I just don't like to take crap from anyone, So that, turned this whole thing over, and I started treating patients with the ways that actually worked. And I come to find out that everything that worked wasn't covered by insurance. Yeah, you could do all this therapy, you could do this, you could do adjusting, you could do all this. It'll work temporarily, but if you don't go after the cause, the microbiome thing, just Google microbiome and joint pain, microbiome and DJD, microbiome, it's all over, neuropathy, whatever. And so that's why I shifted over here, kind of stumbled onto this, besides the fact that, back in the day, I remember Blue Cross Blue Shield kept auditing us every single month. I'm sorry, every single year. So they would audit us and take like 50 files and say, no, insufficient documentation, all this crap. And so I had to hire a lady who was an expert on insurance billing. She was a whistleblower. She was a whistleblower for Medicare fraud and insurance fraud. And she said, Dr. Singleton, I just want to tell you, if I see something here, I'm going to have to report you. I'm like, I understand. Go at it. So we gave her all these files, and she went through this, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. They're just throwing things at you and, trying to, it said nothing here. So every year we had her, paid her a bunch of money, and she had to basically say, insurance companies, what are you talking about? So in other words, they just kind of crack on you just to try to make you feel whatever, insecure, like you're doing something wrong. And I think I've talked with a lot of doctors over the years. A lot of doctors actually they've actually quit practice because they're getting beat up by insurance companies. They're like, I can't do this anymore. It's stressing my life out. My wife is stressed. I'm stressed. My kids can feel the stress of our family. So so they completely get out of treating patients. So I kind of was lucky how I stumbled onto this, and it transitioned into the cash program, things that actually work. So if you bill your patient services to insurance companies, and you are, if you're reimbursed, you may live in an area that you're still reimbursed. Well, then congratulations. I would never suggest you stop doing something that's working like that for now. However, I would recommend that this is a volatile insurance climate, and it would be unwise to put all your eggs in the insurance basket. So start to maybe branching and doing a little bit over here as well. Start doing something that is in a cash program. Okay. Again, after years of billing services to insurance companies and dealing with all the denials, redundant record requests and audits, like I was just talking about, I decided to go a different direction. So it's been my experience that insurance companies play by their own rules, which are often unfair. Because of this, I decided to get out of the insurance rat race. They got a lot more money than we do. And if you're, a big fish in a little pond, in a sense, they kind of look at that and they go, okay, something's going on here. I mean, we're getting like 1,000 leads every month, and we get 250, 300 new patients going every month with 2 clinics. And I'm either doing something wrong or we're doing something 100% right. So it's something that you just have to look at, your why. Look at your why, and you want to practice where patients never leave you. You want to always be the hero to your patients. So then you need to kind of make sure you're treating the whole body, not just adjusting the spine. Because if you're just adjusting the spine, they're going to leave you someday. Unless you're so dynamic, they'll never leave. But because adjusting the spine only, it's not going to fix anything. Temporarily, they're going to feel good. But if you don't work on the gut, the microbiome. So again, Google microbiome, joint pain. You'll see why there's a microbiome in the discs. So you got to get the gut healthy. You got to do those things. You had nutrition in school 4 years. We don't learn much. So we have to kind of learn it after we get out of school, right? Insurance companies are in business to make money. They make more money if they don't have to pay you for services. Like I work here in an office with another doctor, and he said every year it's just getting tighter and tighter. They're down to paying down like $22 for a Medicare adjustment. Hasn't even, that was 20 years ago. Everything has kind of gone up except for the reimbursement. They're just not playing fair. So, for instance, they determine what services they'll cover and how many visits they will cover for a patient. Many healthcare providers complain that insurance companies make money 3 ways. So what we do is we actually look at this list. You can look at the CPT codes, 99212, 213, for a visit, for an E&M visit. And you can kind of see what your charges are and then see what the reimbursement is. So you want to call. I actually did a webinar on this, I don't know, a few months ago, how to benefit more from if you're going to do insurance. So if you do, let's say you do all these codes, let's just say we do all these codes, you want to call the insurance company and find out what their reimbursement is so that you know what to bill for and what you're going to get paid for, and don't do things and bill for things that they're not going to pay you. Because maybe Blue Cross Blue Shield will pay you this, and maybe United Healthcare or Select Health or something else will not pay that, or only pay $15 versus this other procedure, like a therapy code 97110 or 112. They'll pay maybe $40 for that. But then again, if they're paying timed codes, hopefully you guys know this, that you have to do 8 minutes for 1 unit. Now to get billed 2 codes, 2 units, you have to go clear to 24 minutes, okay, to bill for 2 codes. So we had a punch clock for every patient came in, and they would put the punch clock in, and they would actually can see what time they actually started the therapy. And then we were done with the therapy with the therapist, they would punch back out. Sometimes they were 22, 23 minutes. If they were 24 or above, we billed for 2 units. So my staff would always review the next day if it was going to be a 1 unit or a 2 unit. If it's a 1 unit, they're spending 20 minutes. I'm like, wait, they didn't do all their therapy. They didn't do everything they're supposed to. So that's how we kind of focused and got them to do what they were supposed to do in the office. So insurance companies, how they collect insurance premiums. It's like you go to a gym. You pay your $25 a month gym membership. You realize out of 100 people who pay monthly gym memberships, only 6% actually use the membership. But everybody's going, well, I'm just going to keep paying because, I'm going to start Monday. I mean, it's month to month, there's no contract, but people still pay the 25. So the gym's making a lot of money, and only 6% are showing up. They reject claims from doctors because it wasn't medically necessary. They audit ask questions for money back that they've already paid. So this insufficient documentation, oh my gosh, you can't believe, it doesn't matter what you put in the notes. If they want to say something, they're going to say it. They're going to give you a bunch of crap, and they're going to try to get their money back. The goal of insurance companies just didn't align with my goals. If they don't align with your goals either, you ought to consider investing in more cash-based solutions for your office. It will make you less reliant on insurance and better able to serve your patients. So, some patients will come in the past and go, well, my insurance only covers 10 visits. My insurance only covers 20 visits. So you're basically dictating what you're going to treat, how to treat a patient according to what their insurance covers. And then after insurance runs out, you can go and tell them, hey, you're out, but I still think you need about another 10, 15 treatments. How much is $150 a visit? Oh, I can't do that. Well, then we'll just have to wait and start you again next year in January when it starts over, right? So it wasn't good for both of us or the patient. It's not what we think. So while it may seem convenient to have insurance cover your service, the reality is that it will rarely cover the care your patient needs. So when patients ask me, does my insurance cover this? I said, well, if your insurance covered this, you wouldn't be here. This is actually from, this is a Medicare guideline, because everybody kind of goes under Medicare guidelines, okay? Section 2251.3. Here's what it says. Hold on to hope you're sitting down. A treatment plan that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life, or therapy that is performed to maintain or prevent deterioration of a chronic condition is deemed not medically necessary. I mean, if you knew that, you would never buy insurance, because if they're not going to cover something that actually works to prevent something, only covering hospitals, stitches, drugs, medication, wheelchairs, amputations, yeah, they'll cover all that, but what about the prevention of all that? So offering cash-based services helps you and the patient, not the insurance company, determine the level of the care they're gonna get. Now, we're not all on the same page. So this will allow your patients to feel more in control of their healthcare and be able to make decisions without the fear that insurance will reject their claim. So, a lot of places will have what's called HSA, health savings accounts, and flex spending. They'll put money in the employees' checks or in their account, so that the patients can, if they want to do something elective, or if they want to do something that insurance doesn't cover, they'll have some money there. Some companies, like if the company, if you put 1,000 in, the company will match 1,000, like kind of like a 401k thing. So it's nice to be able to have a program that actually is to help the patient, that's actually better for the patient and not listening to insurance. Transitioning from an insurance-based practice to cash. So you may find it daunting to change the way you practice produces income, but you can always make the transition slowly. Again, if your insurance companies are compensating you fairly, I wouldn't suggest that you completely stop billing, but I advise you to augment your income with some cash services, because the odds are you will not always be compensated fairly. Okay. So if they don't align with your goals either, you want to consider investing in a more cash-based solution in your office. There's a lot of things that you can do. So find out from your state boards what you can do and what you can't do. Like here in Utah, I can do things like injections. I do ozone injections. I can do PRP. So a gentleman that came in for neuropathy last week, he comes in. I go, "Are you limping because of your neuropathy?" He goes, "No, I have knee pain." I'm like, "Well, here, let's help you." So he comes in for neuropathy. And so I give him 3 injections in his knee with ozone. Within 10 minutes, pain's gone. And he's like, "Oh my gosh." I said, "So when you come in for your neuropathy treatments, I'll actually throw in these ozone injections." He's like, "Are you kidding me?" Because he's had steroid injections before, which they help temporarily, but it actually erodes the bone tissue, causes osteoporosis, and it causes candida, it causes other problems in the body. It's just the medical field's way to decrease pain with the drug temporarily. So the ozone, a lot of research on ozone can help to accelerate the mitochondria healing, tissue healing, decrease swelling, inflammation. So there's just got to see all the things that you can do, all the things that you can offer. So see what your guidelines are, because some doctors are like, "Well, I went to a straight school. I can't offer therapy. I can't offer this." Well, really? I mean, that's back in the day. That's like the earth is flat kind of thinking, it's in my opinion, so you need to, what is the best thing for the patient, not what you were taught in school, some of you went to more philosophical based schools, and some went to a medically based school in a sense. So you just have to take it all and see what's going to be better for your patient, but go to your why. I mean, if you're going to be Atlas hole-in-one and you're really excited about that and you're busy, then keep doing that. Okay. Don't do anything else. If you're successful at doing that, then don't change, right? Now, this is how I roll. So I knew that I would need to find something more universally relevant. So I've always been passionate about nutrition, because back in the day when I was dating my wife, she had a tumor in high school. And when we were dating, she was always in the hospital. She had pancreatitis, and they took out some of her pancreas back when she was in high school. Her dad died at 32. So she always had this sickness. So I decided to start doing some research even before I got to school, chiropractic school back in the 80s. And I saw that there was a couple of books that I was looking at. Harvey Maryland Diamond, basically how to combine foods, like eat fruit and vegetables. And so I put her on that program, and it helped her. We didn't have to go to the hospital anymore. And so I took took what I knew about nutrition. I started to help patients and other specific conditions, as it turned out, and then with weight loss and then neuropathy. Again, these things are kind of stumbled on, that I found out why people can't lose weight and why they have neuropathy. It comes back to this gut thing, it's microbiome. So for the first 13 years of my practice, I built insurance for all services in my office. Now, 20 years later, I love being all cash. I would never go back. Yes, leaving the insurance arena made me very nervous at first, but it was the best move I've ever made. So chiropractic abuse. Some people call it that, because we're like the stepchild of healthcare, but yet we can actually help more people than any drug. You realize if the drug companies went on strike and there are no more drugs available, the only people that'd be beneficial would be surgeons, ERs. If you went to a general practitioner, he had no medication to give you. What's he going to do? Give you a diet recommendation? No, because they don't have any diet nutrition recommendations. They don't even have that in school. So what are they going to do if there's no drugs? I don't know. So go with the stats. Look at your stats. So I decided when I went all cash, I needed to broaden the service I offered to patients. I dislike the stats that only said 7 to 14% or 7 to 12%. It's actually lower than that of the population seek chiropractic care. But as I contemplated that percentage, it made me realize I needed different ways to get new patients into my office, especially since I was going all cash. So guess who told me about this? My wife. She helped her lose weight, helped her friends lose weight with the program I had. So you should do weight loss. You should. And let me just tell you, by that time, I had gained some weight. I was over 300 pounds. And, because I loved food. And so I started doing the program. I developed this program, did it on myself, got down to my high school weight. And it was like, okay, this is it. I figured this out. So these are some patients. So there's weight loss. And on the right, there's neuropathy, helping patients with neuropathy. Offering programs, not just supplements. So I've talked with a lot of doctors saying, oh, I do nutrition. And I'm like, well, how much can you make with nutrition? Well, I can bill out about $3,000 or $4,000, maybe $5,000 a good month. And I said to him, I can sell $5,000 in just one program, so you can work your fanny off and just sell supplements for $5,000 or make $50,000 with programs. I figured out how to do the program thing. So you offer different programs in your clinic. It will make a huge difference in your patients and your income. Because just by taking supplements first of all, I think I did it. Do we do a webinar on supplements, good supplements, bad supplements?
We did.
Yeah. So if you go back to that, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Because if it's in a tablet form, it's going right to the toilet. So, we need to offer things that we can actually do and help patients. But the more you know about what causes it, then you get to a point where you can start helping. And then when you start helping patients with this, you become really passionate about what you're doing and you'll see a huge life change. Starting a few extra services, just a few, these changes can make a huge difference even in a small practice. The best approach is to provide a combination of treatments, supplements, nutritional programs. We have like 14 different programs that are kits that you can just offer. You can hit on the dashboard. On the front desk, you can have like a little plaque. And we have those that you can print out on our system, but like memory mood. Would you like to have better memory mood? So we have nutrients in a program to help with your memory and mood swings. A weight loss, 2-week weight loss starter pack. So you're like, well, I don't know if I want to do weight loss, and blah, blah, blah. Well, why don't you just offer a smaller kit? Let me do a 2-week and we'll see if this is work. Because again, this works. What are they going to want? They're going to want more, or a 7-day cleanse kit. I've heard about these cleanses. I heard about these detoxification, I'm interested in that. I can do 7 days, so it sparks interest because it's kind of out there, cleanses and detoxes and stuff like that. And if you're starting to advertise this on your counter, people are going to ask questions. Hey, what are you doing? And offering nutrition-based services. Nutrition is a natural addition to your existing wellness service. Remember, D.D. Palmer said that chiropractors should not only pay attention to their subluxations, but also to toxins. But most schools don't talk about that. What your patient eats affects their health and the efficacy of your chiropractic treatments. So important. 2 years ago, again, to not be redundant, but from the department of the redundancy department, I learned that, back in the day, off note, when chiropractors and students, they can go to some third world countries, and there are kids that are like 1 or 2 years old that can't walk because they fell or they have a real subluxation. So the students will adjust that little kid and they're walking. And they're thinking, oh my gosh. See, that is chiropractic in the beginning. That's what happened in the beginning. But nowadays, you're adjusting. It's like you're adjusting people that are so full of inflammation. Their diet is so horrible, so much Diet Coke, that you adjust them. And when they walk out and get in their car, it's out again. So if you don't address what causes the inflammation, what causes the pain, you'll never get to that next level. And so you can do so many things if you focus on this triad. The toxins, just like we talked about here. Well, we have a detox kit. Emotional, mental, memory, mood. And did you know that the gut, if the microbiome is healthy, that helps to increase more serotonin, the small intestine, which is your happy hormone. So if someone's not happy all the time, look at their gut. Their microbiome has so much negative energy. They're toxic and they don't feel good. Hence, their attitude is, really crappy. They don't like being around people, and you don't like being around them either. And then the structural. So when you focus on what your patient's needs are, including a good nutritional plan, your patients will heal faster and return to you for guidance. Nutrition can be added easily right into your reported findings. There are specific nutrients that will help each of the 3 phases of care: pain, corrective, and then maintenance phase. So again, heal the microbiome to optimize your health. It's out there. It's out there. Pain relief, microbiome. Corrective, microbiome. Maintenance, microbiome. A radical new way to approach you healing the body from the inside. And I, again, stumbled on this 20 plus years ago, and I just can't believe I was gifted, or I was blessed to stumble onto this. Do you know the MRI was a fluke? They were having an MRI, and they were MRI scanning ship hulls looking for cracks. And then one time they saw some workers on the other side. They're going, "Hey, we can see people, images. What's going on here?" So that's kind of how they developed the MRI. And the X-ray. I mean, Dr. Rankin, he basically was trying to figure out this X-ray, and his wife comes in to his office, and she's talking to him about dinner, and she puts her hand down on this film, and she had this honking ring on one of her fingers, and she had her hand there, and it was being exposed from this light. Well, he developed that, and he saw, they go, "What is this?" It was his wife's hand. So I'm just saying, things that we use every day kind of came by accident, or you want to call them accidents, or divine intervention. That's what I call it, divine intervention. And I just happen to be blessed with this. So in addition to back pain, standard chiropractic care, you can help your patients nutritionally with other symptoms like neuropathy, weight loss, knee pain, because knee pain is inflammation, insomnia. If your body and your gut and your serotonin is not being produced, it's hard to produce melatonin, because that's what happens when it gets darker. But if your body's not healthy, the gut microbiome is not healthy, you're not going to produce as much melatonin, so it's going to be hard to stay asleep. Hormone balancing, I mean, that's huge also for weight loss, but just hormone balancing. So do you realize that I think it's 65% of the population is on some kind of anti-anxiety, antidepressant, anxiety medication because of their gut. You fix the gut, you fix the liver, they're no longer depressed. They no longer have anxiety. But don't say that to the pharmaceuticals, because they want people to stay depressed. The list goes on. Again, Google microbiome and whatever you treat or want to treat. In fact, years ago, I was treating women who could not get pregnant. And they tried everything. And so they would come in, and I basically, because if you're not healthy, you can conceive. Your body's not going to carry the child, deliver the child, nurse the child. So the body's like, "No, we're not going to let you get pregnant. So let's go spend $50,000 in forced pregnancy. And then you may have twins or triplets because of this." So it was really fun changing patients' lives. A nutritional program is a set of dietary standards that your patient agrees to follow for a given time. There are many different ways to ensure their success, including offering coaching. We offer coaching, weekly coaching by phone. We have journals where they can fill out the journals. We also have journals where they can fill out online as well. Because remember, if you report back to somebody, there's a high likelihood that you're going to stay with something. Like if you go to the gym and work out, you're going to go by yourself, or like the person that said, "You know what, I'm going to start walking. I'm going to start walking on Monday. I'm going to start exercising." And you talk to your friend, Linda, she lives next door. "Hey, Linda, hey, let's go. Let's start walking. Let's start exercising. So I'm going to go at 7:00 in the morning. Is that okay with you, Linda?" "Yes, let's do it." So then you get a text from Linda. She gets a text from Linda that morning about 6:30. "Oh, hey, I can't. We had a rough night. Her husband was sick, throwing up because he ate some bad chicken or something. So I won't be able to go today." So does she go without Linda? No. So if Linda was going, come hell and high water, she would go too. So when you have a buddy system, when you have somebody to report to, somebody to has accountability to, it's much easier to do a program. But you have to have the right coaching. Nutrition programs will dramatically change your patients' lives for the better. They'll also boost your practice. Weight loss itself is a $60 billion industry and has been rapidly growing, no pun intended, over the past 20 years. Or actually, pun intended. Your patients are already looking for help, and you can offer them easy, simple. So these are studies of obesity trends. So you want to be a normal BMI is 15 to 25. 25 to 30 is overweight, and above 30 is obese. So these are above 30. So these states that are in the dark blue are 15+% of the population is obese, above 30. Okay, here's 1997. It's even getting higher. So now we're these states here, Kentucky, Indiana, and is that Mississippi? 25+%. So 2001, now we're down here and we're, it's getting more and more and more. 2010, this is just 13 years ago. Look at this. So now we're above, so far above. So this is not something, well, gosh, if I get into weight loss, is it going to still be here forever? Yeah, it's always going to be here because people don't know what to do. They don't know what to buy. It's a good idea to consider doing a nutritional program yourself first. Like here's a doctor who did the program. So his patients were like, Doc, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to offer the new weight loss nutrition program in my office, but I'm doing it first because I want to do it first to see how it works for me. So he was in Louisiana in a swamp, basically. And, he wanted to do it, see how it worked. Well, see if it works. He's like, well, I'm going to see if it works. Well, it worked. And he said, I'm going to do this for 3 months. He did it for 4 months and he lost all this weight. And the patient was, okay, when are we going to do it? Okay, this Saturday, we're going to have a seminar. So we had like 45 people show up to a seminar. And he basically sold $20,000 his first day of advertising for weight loss in one day. That was just the first day. He couldn't see everybody in one day. And so it's so amazing once you do it yourself, because if you do it yourself, it's like chiropractors who never get adjusted. You never get adjusted. Well, I believe in chiropractic, but I just don't have time to go get adjusted. There's energy in that, and people will sense that. People will look at you and go, they won't know that you don't go, but they can sense that you're not buying into the drinking the Kool-Aid, right? So even if your office is small, it is very simple to offer supplements and nutritional programs to your patients. Start simply by adding nutrition to your report of findings with your patient. Like I said, and most, like this doctor, this guy, he needs to go on a balanced diet. I saw that, sorry. I had to throw that in there. Then there'll be patients who want more than adjustment. When you can help them, so who better than their chiropractor to help them with their nutritional needs? Incorporate a simple system to ask your patients what they're looking for regarding health, what they're struggling with, and what their goals are. And don't be surprised that they're going to bring you a list. They're going to bring you a long list of things that they want because their allopathic physician can't help them with anything except for drugs. They're sick and tired of taking drugs because of how they feel. As your nutritional program and experience begin to blossom, you can reach out to more members of your community and expand your practice. Holistic nutrition programs can appeal to a wider audience than traditional chiropractic alone. And we're bringing many more patients. Your practice will grow as you reach a wider audience, which allows you to help more individuals. So we've done corporate luncheons. We've reached out in the community. We had dinner boxes in the restaurants, register here for, weight loss or stress management, whatever. And then you can go in and do a dinner. You can even have programs where we teach doctors how to go to your local radio station, like a popular radio station that has disc jockeys, and you go to the manager, the producers there, and say, hey, who here has weight they need to lose? So try to find a woman first. If you find a woman, say, hey, would you be willing to do one of our weight loss programs? And you can, we'll give you the program, we'll coach you. But you need to have on the air, like every other day, you say, hey, I'm down 2 pounds. So you're going to talk about it, even though we'll pay some of it for the ad. So you have a radio lady disc jockey talking about her journey through losing weight. And after she's down 30, 40, 50 pounds, then you advertise for a seminar at a local hotel where you can house between 50 to 100 people. So another one of our doctors back in Pennsylvania, he did this and he was getting, 70 to 90 people. And he's the one that's doing, like 300,000 a month in weight loss, not chiropractic. And so there's ways to get out to your community because they want to hear what you have to say. And remember, patients, before they buy your program, they need to buy you first. And if they see what you're drinking the Kool-Aid, then you can tell somebody else to drink the Kool-Aid because you're willing to do it. You can't tell somebody to go work out at a gym if you're not willing to go out working at the gym. Anyway, something like that. Now, the quality of supplements you choose to sell in your practice is vital importance. Many supplements produced in the United States are full of fillers. Just crap, and the amount of herbs that help the body. Most of them are single herbs. Those make sure you choose supplements that are 100% pure and potent. So if you want to go on this link here, take your phone out, take a picture of that, and then just put that in the your address bar, and you can hear Dr. Wally Nelson talk about how their program is different, how they went to, basically, they bought these century-old formulations from the Japanese herbologists there in Japan, not China, Japan. And so that's their formulations that are centuries old. And that's why we're getting so much. So I think we also did another presentation on some supplements too. Creating a cash-based practice may take time and effort, but in the long run, it'll be worth it. It'll allow you to achieve the goals you had when deciding to become a chiropractor, to change patients' lives, right? That's what you want, change patients' lives. As you begin to see the incredible change in your patients' lives, you will be further inspired to reach new goals with your practice. You won't have the added stress on relying on insurance companies to pay for it, right? So again, when you know this and you see this and you have patients, like I just had a doctor that sent me a video or a picture of one of his patients that was he was going to die. He had cancer and he lost like over 120 pounds. And his wife lost 100 pounds. And so I see the before and after pictures and he's like, we basically saved this family's life. And so it's like, he said, this is why I keep doing what I'm doing, because we're changing lives every day. So it's worth the effort, I think. So I've taught all over the world. We have the largest practice here in Utah. I still do consulting Mondays and Fridays, and I send out emails. So if you want more information about what I send out, you want to get on my list, text me at that number, 801-903-7141. Or you can go to singletonsystems.com and see what I'm doing. There's my email. And then that Club Reduced Weight and Neuropathy is my local website that I use for local advertising for my weight loss, neuropathy, pain management.